we sent Donald Trump to a fictional AI therapy session. This entire session, from the dialogue to the psychological analysis, was written entirely by AI. The format is simple: a therapy session, followed by clinical commentary and final diagnosis. So let's begin and see what happens when the businessman turned world leader, Donald Trump, meets the therapist.
Good afternoon, Mr. Trump. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. I don't usually do this sort of thing, you know. I've always been very strong, mentally strong, the strongest.
I understand. But sometimes strength also means being willing to reflect, to look inward.
Maybe. I just think people misunderstand me. They always have. I've done incredible things, tremendous things, but they still criticize. It's like they want me to fail.
That sounds frustrating. Do you feel like you need to prove something to them?
I don't need to prove anything. I've already proven it. I built an empire. I won the presidency when no one thought I could. That's not luck. That's talent. That's vision. But they still come after me. Fake news, witch hunts, the whole thing.
What does it feel like being constantly challenged like that?
Honestly, it fuels me. I thrive on it. I like the fight. If you're not winning, you're losing. I don't believe in being average. I believe in being the best, number one.
Where do you think that comes from? That drive to be number one?
Probably my father. He was tough, very successful, didn't hand out compliments. You had to earn them, and even then you might not get them. I learned early, if you're not tough, you get eaten alive.
Did you ever feel like you weren't enough?
No, never. I knew I was meant for big things, always did. But sure, sometimes you wonder, what if I had done more, been more? Even when I win, I think, could I have won bigger? That's just how I'm wired.
So even in success, there's that push for more.
Of course, there's no finish line. If you stop moving, you're dead. People respect winners. They follow strength. Weakness, they smell it. They tear you apart.
You mentioned respect. Is that something you feel you're constantly seeking?
I wouldn't say seeking, demanding. I've earned it, but yes, it matters. Respect, power, recognition. You build your name, your brand, and if people don't respect it, what do you have?
Is there a moment when you first remember needing that kind of recognition?
I don't know, maybe as a kid, I liked being noticed, liked being the best at things. My name on the building, in the spotlight, that meant something, still does.
How do you see people who oppose you or work under you?
I don't trust easily. People are disloyal, especially when you're powerful. You have to keep them in line, show strength. If they see weakness, they turn. That's just the game.
Before we continue, let's pause. Here's what our therapist has observed so far.
At this point in the session, I'm not just listening to what Mr. Trump says. I'm paying close attention to what he avoids. There's a strong emphasis on power, success, and dominance. But behind that, I sense a persistent vulnerability. His language suggests a deep need not just to succeed, but to be seen, respected, and remembered. These aren't unusual traits, but the intensity and rigidity with which he defends them are telling. My questions so far have been aimed at exploring that foundation. The repeated returns to his father, the emphasis on toughness, and the aversion to weakness all point to a core fear: being irrelevant, or worse, invisible. I also noticed his language when discussing opponents and subordinates. The world, for him, seems divided between winners and losers. Trust and loyalty are conditional, and power must be maintained at all costs. As he put it,
if they see weakness, they turn.
This worldview isn't just strategic, it's psychological. In the next part of the session, I want to explore what lies beneath that fear of weakness. What happens when control slips? What emotions surface when power isn't enough? That's where real insight begins.
Now, let's step back into the therapy room.
We've explored success and respect quite a bit. Now I'm curious about something different. Failure. How do you respond to it?
I don't fail. Other people fail, they let you down, or the system is rigged. But me, I find another way. I pivot. I win in the end.
That sounds like a powerful mindset. But have there been moments where you felt fear or sadness?
Look, I'm not big on feelings. You start letting that stuff in, it clouds your judgment. I've seen it happen. People get emotional, they fall apart. That's not me. I stay focused.
So, emotions like fear or shame, do you see them as weakness?
Absolutely. The second you show fear, people jump. It's blood in the water. You have to project strength, always.
And what happens when you don't feel strong?
You fake it. You don't let them see it. I've been in tough spots, lawsuits, attacks, betrayals. You take the hit and you smile, you keep moving.
Is that how it was growing up? Were you allowed to show pain?
Not in my house. My father, he didn't want whiners. If you cried, he'd say, "What are you, soft?" So I learned, you toughen up. You shut it down.
But where do those feelings go?
They don't go anywhere. You bury them. That's how you survive. The world's not kind. It doesn't care if you're hurt. It respects results.
Do you ever wonder what it would be like to not carry all that alone?
No, I don't need pity. I don't need therapy. No offense. I'm here because people said I should try it, but I'm doing fine. Better than fine.
I'm not here to offer pity, just a place to be real, even if just for a moment.
Being real doesn't mean talking about feelings. It means winning, building, proving people wrong.
So for you, being vulnerable is incompatible with being in control?
That's exactly right. Control is everything. You let that slip and you're finished. I didn't get to where I am by second-guessing myself or opening up.
But what if part of that control is also knowing what you're guarding?
Maybe, but I'm not interested in digging through old wounds. That's for losers.
At this stage, what stands out is Mr. Trump's rigid defense against emotional vulnerability. His consistent dismissal of emotions like fear or sadness, and his association of them with weakness, suggests a classic emotional repression pattern, often seen in narcissistic and obsessive personality structures. As he put it,
Look, I'm not big on feelings. You start letting that stuff in, it clouds your judgment.
his reference to burying feelings and never showing weakness aligns with what we call defensive denial, a mechanism that protects the ego from perceived threats but comes at the cost of emotional depth and flexibility. There's also a strong presence of what's known as compensatory grandiosity, projecting invincibility to cover a deep-seated fear of inadequacy or rejection. When he says,
They don't go anywhere. You bury them. That's how you survive.
it reflects a self-image that leaves little room for internal conflict or vulnerability. He doesn't just avoid vulnerability, he equates it with failure, which reveals an internalized schema where love or approval was conditional upon strength and performance. In the next part of the session, I want to carefully explore how this emotional shutdown has shaped his relationships and what it might cost him internally. We've explored how you deal with control and weakness in the public sphere. But I wonder, what happens in your closer relationships? With the people who know you off stage, especially women?
Women? What about them? I've always had great relationships with women. They admire strength, confidence. I've been very successful with women. Everybody knows that.
I'm curious about how you define a successful relationship.
Loyalty, admiration, a woman who knows how to support you, not compete with you. I like strong women, but not the kind that try to undermine you. There's a balance.
Was that modeled for you early on? Did your parents have that kind of dynamic?
My mother was kind, gentle, but my father, he ran the show. My mother supported him. That's how it worked. That's what I saw growing up. A man leads, a woman supports.
And how has that shaped your relationships now? With your wife, your daughter, other women in your life?
Melania is great, very dignified, elegant. She understands the role, doesn't complain, doesn't make a scene. And Ivanka, incredible, smart, beautiful, classy. I've said it before, if she weren't my daughter, maybe I'd be dating her. People laughed, but I meant it as a compliment.
That comment raised eyebrows. What do you think it says about how you see women?
It says I appreciate beauty and strength. People want to twist everything. I value women, but I don't let anyone, man or woman, challenge my position. That's just how I am.
Is vulnerability something you've ever shown in relationships?
No, not really. You show vulnerability, people take advantage. Even in marriage, you have to keep control. If you're too open, too soft, it doesn't work. They lose respect.
And what about emotional closeness? Do you let people see you?
I let them see what they need to see. I'm not cold. I can be charming, generous, but I don't cry on shoulders. That's not me. I don't ask for help. I give direction.
Some might say that kind of distance makes true intimacy difficult.
Maybe, but I'm not interested in therapy talk. I'm interested in results. My relationships work because I lead. That's the dynamic. You can't argue with success.
Do you ever wonder what it would be like to let go of control, just a little?
I don't wonder. I know what happens. You lose, you get hurt. I've seen it. I've avoided it. I built walls for a reason. They've served me well.
At this point in the session, Mr. Trump's language around relationships reveals a rigid structure rooted in dominance and admiration. His idea of a successful relationship.
Loyalty, admiration, a woman who knows how to support you, not compete with you.
Suggests a transactional dynamic where emotional closeness is secondary to control and affirmation. His reference to his wife as someone who
doesn't complain, doesn't make a scene,
reinforces this preference for emotional containment over openness. There's also a notable discomfort with vulnerability. He states plainly,
you show vulnerability, people take advantage.
This belief likely stems from early modeling. His father as dominant, his mother as supportive, embedding the idea that power and emotional distance ensure safety and respect. But this defense may come at the cost of intimacy. The emotional walls he's built protect him, yes, but they also isolate. In the next part of our session, I want to explore how he sees his own story, both the past he tells and the identity he's built from it. Is it a reflection of who he truly is, or a carefully crafted version he's needed to believe? You've mentioned your father, strict, demanding. Do you think that shaped how you see yourself today?
Absolutely. He didn't care about feelings. You either produced or you didn't. No gray area. That kind of clarity, it makes a man. I didn't grow up looking for love. I grew up looking to win.
And what did winning look like for you then?
Approval, not hugs, not bedtime stories. He respected toughness. If I stood up to him, he'd grin. That was love, his version of it. I learned early, don't cry, don't fold, don't ask for help. You get up, you deliver, you get respect.
Do you ever question that version of the past?
Why would I? It made me who I am. People want to dig into their childhoods and blame everything on their parents, not me. My father wasn't perfect, but he built something, and I built bigger. That's how legacy works. And what's the alternative? Being soft, needing hugs and affirmations? That doesn't build empires.
What about your own image? How much of it feels like choice and how much like necessity?
Image is everything, but it's not fake. It's strategy. You want to be remembered? You build the character. The winner the alpha. I didn't fake confidence, I cultivated it. Repetition becomes reality. Say it enough, you believe it, they believe it.
So the version of you that the world sees, is that the real Donald Trump?
It's the distilled version, the strongest parts, the part that doesn't break. That's what people want. You show them weakness, they eat you alive. I crafted the man they couldn't ignore.
And when you're alone, no cameras, no crowd, does that version still hold?
Of course. I'm not wearing a mask. I became the mask. There's no difference now. This is who I am. I don't second guess it. I don't lie awake wondering who I could have been. I built this version for a reason, and I like him.
Even if parts of him were created to protect a more vulnerable side?
Then that side was never meant to last. Weakness doesn't survive. Strength does. Legacy does. I'll be remembered for what I showed the world, not what I hid from it.
Based on this part of the session, it becomes clear that his identity is a construction, carefully built, fiercely protected. When he says,
I'm not wearing a mask, I became the mask.
It reveals how deeply he's fused self-image with survival. Childhood lessons like,
you get up, you deliver, you get respect,
shaped a worldview where strength equals worth. There's no space left for doubt or softness, only the version that doesn't break. But behind that armor may still live a buried self, long silenced for the sake of legacy.
Now, let's take a step back to see the bigger picture and find out what our experts' final thoughts are on this session and Donald Trump's character.
Dominance, success, and emotional invulnerability. Patterns emerged that align with multiple clinical features and diagnostic considerations. First, traits consistent with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, a pervasive need for admiration, lack of empathy, and belief in one's unique superiority. His repeated assertions like, I don't fail, and you fake it, you keep moving, reveal a defense system rooted in denial, projection, and image preservation. Second, we observe antisocial personality traits, particularly in his worldview that vulnerability invites predation, and his instrumental approach to relationships. He exhibits strategic charm, but limited emotional intimacy. His statement, my relationships work because I lead, reflects a control-driven, transactional dynamic that resists emotional reciprocity. Third, his childhood reflections suggest developmental emotional neglect, particularly from a cold, demanding father. This may have led to the formation of a false self, now fully internalized, evident when he states, I'm not wearing a mask. I became the mask. Notably, there is little indication of internal conflict or distress about these patterns, implying low ego dystonicity, which significantly reduces motivation for change or therapeutic engagement. In sum, Trump displays a narcissistic personality structure with antisocial features, likely shaped by early emotional suppression, performance-based validation, and a self-concept engineered to deflect shame, maintain power, and reject emotional exposure.
That was our therapy session with Donald Trump. If you enjoyed this, or if it made you think, we've got more coming, more characters, more deep dives. Subscribe to Mind Session for more, and let us know in the comments who you'd like to see in the chair next.